last thing, Doug. As a matter of full disclosure, none of the secret life elements you chose can actually be true. It would cause irreparable conflict and confusion. That's how brains get blown.
Don't worry, I don't have any secrets.
Get ready to save the world. Happy trails, man.
Wait. What? What is it? What's wrong?
Yank that needle out before it takes.
Wait here! Whoa! Federal police! On your feet now!
It's all a mistake. I'm nobody.
Did anyone ask for a remake of Total Recall, the 1990 sci-fi movie about memory implantation in Mars starring Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, me neither. But that's what we've got, with Colin Farrell taking over as Doug Quaid, the supposedly average guy who, in an attempt to bring some excitement into his life, goes to a company called Recall that promises to give customers vivid, enjoyable memories of events that never happened. But it ends up revealing that the life Quaid knows may be an invention to hide Quaid's true identity as a super spy named Hauser. Many consider the original Total Recall to be a near classic, so the big question is whether the new version is different enough or a big enough improvement to justify its existence. The new version starts by declaring one of its biggest differences: no trip to Mars. Instead, we have an Earth devastated by chemical warfare where the only two remaining human settlements are ones in the former Britain and Australia, known respectively as the United Federation of Britain and the Colony. The Federation, ruled by Chancellor Cohagen, played by Bryan Cranston, is the nicer place to live and benefits from the cheap labor of the colony, whose citizens, including Quaid, commute to the Federation on a sort of bullet train known as the Fall that travels through the center of the Earth. The problem with this Earthbound setting is that you lose all the interesting Mars mutants, though the three-boobed woman makes an appearance, as well as the alien angle. But perhaps more important is that the Mars colony felt more like the Wild West or the Cantina on Tatooine from Star Wars, full of weird characters, criminals, sin, and lawlessness, where a rebellion for independence could really take hold. Despite the world of the new version being bigger and more detailed thanks to computer graphics that weren't possible in 1990, there's a major oversight in that the colony just felt like a slightly seedier, more working-class neighborhood in the Federation, where the colonists didn't seem much like they were suffering under the oppression of a far-off government, to the point that I often didn't know or care where the action was taking place. The top bad guy lieutenant from the original, Richter, has been combined with Quaid's wife/double agent Lori, which is a slight improvement since this more badass Lori is played by the ultra-hot Kate Beckinsale. Though she's too attractive for the role, since I often found myself wishing that Kate Beckinsale was chasing me around. But Beckinsale, much like her co-star Jessica Biel, who plays a rebel who knew Quaid in his previous life, is one of those actresses who, despite their stardom, has rarely proven herself to be a good actress, which isn't helped by the fact that most of the dialogue in the new Total Recall is pretty awful and delivered way too seriously. And speaking of seriousness, that's another big problem with the new Total Recall. It's a pretty joyless affair. The original had a real sense of humor to it, aided by the fact that it starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, whose muscles, accent, and one-liners make him inherently kinda ridiculous. And at times, Schwarzenegger's Quaid actually embraced the idea of being a super spy, even if he wasn't sure if he was really living it or not. Colin Farrell is serious or scared the whole time, and you never get a good sense of who this guy is. Nor does the film have much fun with the sort of Bourne Identity angle of a guy realizing that he has latent super spy skills. There are other problems, like Cranston being underused, the fact that robotic cops in the future are apparently horrible shots, and that the film's pacing is off. But in the end, the biggest knock I have against the new Total Recall is that I was just plain bored, which I never would have thought possible in a movie with so much running and shooting, especially when it's done by one of the hottest actresses on the planet. So if you want the Total Recall experience, save yourself some money and trouble, and in my opinion,
Get your ass to Mars.
I'm Jonathan Kim, and this is a ReThink Review.